Last week, Loughborough University invited me to judge their top 10 startups that were all competing for funding. Now, as these businesses were presenting themselves, I very quickly realized that there's a lot of basics that they've overlooked. So today I'm going to be breaking down 7 things that I look for to see if your business is actually scalable. So if you're running a business and you want to make sure that you're set up to scale and make a lot of money, make sure you're doing these 7 things. Number 1 is boost your LTV. If you don't know what LTV is, it means your lifetime value. And it basically means how much one customer will pay you over the lifetime. What most people get wrong, and I noticed this a lot, it was quite a common theme within the presentations, is that people that pay you, they just pay you once and then that's it, they're done. Like one of the products was a £30 product and that was making £10 profit per sale. And it was like, literally, you could only sell, it was a one-time product. You would never buy it again, right? You buy the product and then that's it. You might have spent loads of time to acquire one customer. You might have spent time trying to sell that customer. You might have tried so many different things to acquire that customer. And as soon as that customer buys, it's done. You don't need anything else from them. You know what I mean? And that to me is a really shallow business. You want to have a customer that can buy from you over and over and over again, which means that you can spend more money on marketing to actually acquire the customer, right? And it's going to make your life easier to actually grow and scale the business. Because imagine if you only had, let's say it's a £10 product, you realistically, if you're going to try and scale and you want to keep a good profit margin, you only want to be spending like £2 to acquire a customer. If you've got a £30 product, it costs £20 for the actual resources. £10 profit is quite small per product. So even on cost to acquire a customer, like you're looking at like £2-3 to acquire a customer. That's so difficult. Your margins are so thin. And imagine if that was £30 every single month and they would pay you that over 5 years, then you've got much more because each customer is bringing you more money, so you can afford to spend more on marketing, which makes your life so much easier. Yeah. So increase the LTV of your customer, increase the amount that one customer can pay you, and that sometimes might mean shifting your product or shifting your service. But trust me, it's going to make your life so much easier if you have customers that pay you more and more over their lifetime. So that's number 1. Number 2 is to know your numbers. Now, knowing your numbers it's like some basic numbers that people just weren't clear on. So cost to deliver for a customer, yeah? What's the price of your actual service? And what's the profit margin, yeah? There was some people that were presenting and they would say like, oh, like it's going to be maybe something like this. And I was like, okay, how much profit? Oh, I don't really know, haven't figured it out. You know, we're in business here. We're in business to make money. And if you can't tell me how much money something's going to make you, or at least give me a rough estimate, it's going to be really difficult for me to see whether or not this is actually going to be scalable. So know your numbers. You have to know how much things cost you. And the truth is, like, this is no dig to like early business owners. You might not even believe this. I was on a call with a founder that's doing over 100k a month. He's doing about 15 to 20k profit. And he was implementing a new service. And I was speaking to him about it. And I was like, yeah, what are you going to, like, how much is one product going to be worth to you? Like, what's the LTV on this? And what's the cost to acquire a customer going to be? He's like, oh, I've got no idea. So, okay. I was like, what's the profit on each sale that you'd make? And he was, again, like, just uncertain. And it was very obvious to me that a lot of people don't know their numbers. Like, you see people all the time on Dragon's Den. They go in, they're doing their pitch, they've got this amazing product that they spent hundreds of thousands of pounds on. And then someone says, yeah, well, what's your gross profit? What's your net profit? And they just crumble. And it's like, mate, we're in business. These are the basic numbers that you have to know. And if you don't know them, you're just in trouble, man. You're just in major trouble. So this is my kind of recommendations. Second thing is just know your numbers. Get to grips with your numbers. Get to know how big your market is. Get to know like how much of that is actually accessible. Get to know what your revenue targets are and how many sales you actually want to make and your timelines for making these sales. Like, get involved in the maths. If it scares you, get involved in it even more because you've probably been avoiding it longer than you should. Just before you continue with the video, I want to let you know about something free that we're offering, which is a scaling roadmap. Most entrepreneurs struggle to grow their business because they don't know what they should be focusing on. However, we've helped to solve this problem by taking all the knowledge that we've got from the hundreds of entrepreneurs that we've worked with, and we've condensed it into one roadmap that you can get that's personalized for you. So if you want to get really clear on what you need to do to scale to 10, 20, 50, even 100k a month, then I strongly recommend you go and check out the free scaling roadmap that we've got below, and that's going to give you the exact steps that you need to scale your business. Anyways, that's it from me. Back to the video. Point number 3 is define your ICP. A lot of entrepreneurs came and they said that, oh, we're going to serve this group and this group and this group. And immediately, whenever someone does that as a startup, I'm like, red flag. It just switches me off immediately of like, look, you're very early stage. And the reason why is because entrepreneurs that are further ahead will tell you how difficult it actually is to nail one ICP. Yeah, I'm still in the process of understanding my ICP, and I've been in business for like 3 years now, 4 years coming on to, and it's like I'm still figuring out like what they want, the language that they use, the way that they actually buy, the way that they want to be served, like all that kind of stuff. I'm still figuring out, and that's for one ICP. Yeah, and I'm quite bright, I'm quite switched on, and I work a lot, and I'm still figuring it out. Okay, so a lot of these people that come in, they say like, I'm going to serve this group and this group and this group. I'm just like, you really don't realize how slim of a chance you have of serving these people. And not only on top of that, in terms of like just nailing one ICP and getting really good at delivering a product and service, every time you increase the number of ICPs, your marketing has to double, your sales processes have to double because they're different, and then even the delivery process has to change as well. So it's like you double, not even just double, you like every time you add a new ICP, you basically triple, because it's what you already have, you multiply it by 2 because you've got to do the same thing for 2 groups of people. And then on top of that, you've got the switching cost of going back and forth between each one, which is so much bigger than you actually think it is. So really get clear on one ICP and just get stick with that. Now that was the third point. The fourth point is to validate early. Now it was actually really good to see a lot of the entrepreneurs came in and they said, look, I've done this kind of survey, I've asked these questions, I've got this feedback from people, and it was amazing to hear actual validation from people. However, I do think that, again, like, and this is just lack of experience, and I know this because I made this mistake, right? Just for context, my second business, we got £10,000 worth of funding. We didn't do basically any validation. We thought we were doing validation. You know, we did the surveys, we asked a few people some questions, and we said, hey, would you do this? And they're just like, yeah. And because we were our friends, and some people knew that, you know, we were trying to start a business, like, it was really hard to remove the bias of like our actual validation. So a lot of the time people just say yes and they kind of go along with things, but they've got no idea in terms of like payment, what people actually pay, in terms of usage, what people would actually use. Like, I think that a lot of the time in terms of validating early, people often, and it's not always the same for every business, but people need to like get deeper validation. Yeah, I made a full detailed video on validation. So if you're not sure how you can validate your business, definitely go and check that out. I think it'll help you out a lot. But you really need to get your validation right, because if not, like, I can just guess that most entrepreneurs that say they validated their business, I can quite confidently assume they're just lying. They actually haven't validated. Until I can see like sales transactions, until I can see someone's put money onto something, then, or like pre-orders and things like that, I don't really buy into any kind of validation until that point, because I know how easy it is to fluff the data, because I too was once the person that was fluffing the data. So please don't do this. It doesn't help you. You might think it's going to be good for you to get investment, and it might work and you might get the investment, but it actually doesn't help your business. Yeah, because you're just not doing the right things. Yeah, and sometimes you got to lie to, you know, get the money so that you can build the thing and then validate it. And sometimes that does work, but generally speaking, I like to work with honest entrepreneurs. I consider myself to be very honest when it comes to business, and I would like you to do the same. So really try and get your validation right. Try and get people to buy, pre-order, put a deposit down, and just do it for the 10th of the price of what it's actually going to be. It doesn't have to make you a profit when you first start out. You just have to get people to say like, yes, I'd actually want this thing. Yeah, I'd actually spend money to get this thing. And then you can slowly increase the price and increase demand and increase your wait list and things like that. But yeah, just actually get people to put money down. That's the fourth point. The fifth point is simplify your offerings. Now, it's almost parallel to the ICP point, which is like, if you double your ICPs, you double your offerings, right? Some people have one ICP and they have like 6 offerings. And they're like, oh, no, I'm simplified because I've got one ICP. And it's like, yeah, but then you've still got 6 different things that you're trying to sell. Again, if you've got different offerings, you've got different marketing channels. If you've got different marketing channels, you might even have different ICPs and you haven't even realized it, because even saying like, I only target entrepreneurs that are doing 5 to 8K, but then I've got one offer which is for like Notion builds, and another offer which is for consultant, and another offer which is for like a networking group. It's like, you've got lots of different offers, and it's like, again, you have to split test all of these to get good results. You have to spend money behind each of them and time behind each of them to get good results. And it's like, do you really want to be doing that for like 5, 6 different things? No, you want to be doing it for like 1, maybe 2 things, and you just like split test them between these 2. And you split test between these 2, and you're like, oh, actually this one's better. And then you take that one out. Like, let's say you've got 2 offerings, like a networking group and a consulting group. And you say, okay, I'm going to test these 2. Right, I think the networking group works better based on this test. Then you add in another one if you want to split test things. Because when you're starting out, you do want to test a lot of things. But don't split test 20 things at the same time. Yeah, it's going to be really difficult for you to do that. So simplify your offerings. I had one girl that came out. She's really, really bright. I was really, really happy with the business that she's running because she'd made some decent money and she had massive, massive potential. But the problem is that she had so many different offerings. And I was like, you are one person. You've got all these different things going on. You're still studying. How are you going to manage all these different offerings? Just pick one. Yeah. So we actually went through, we made a chart of like what's important to her, like profitability, how much time she has to spend in each one, like what she actually enjoys doing. And we said, okay, where do these different things rank? And then from there, we managed to like focus in on one offering that she could actually start to promote. Yeah. So please start to do that as well. Like simplify your offering. Now that was point number 5. Number 6 is increase volume, right? Now people don't actually understand how much volume they need to be successful. We had one guy there and I was like, okay, what's your route to market? How are you going to get people to buy your stuff? And he said content. And I was like, oh, nice. Okay. And I was like, okay, how much content are you looking to post? And he said, oh, I haven't been posting that much, but I'm looking to stop posting once a week. And I was like, once a week? I didn't say this to him because we didn't have enough time, but immediately I was just like, look, you just once a week is just not really going to get you anywhere. Because if you do once a week, you're not even going to be able to showcase, or you're not going to be able to get a test of like what posts perform better, because you're just not going to have enough data. Yeah. If you're posting once a week, over a month, you'll have 4 pieces of data. You'll have 4 data points. If you post once a day, you'll have 30 data points. Imagine a graph with 4 dots on it. Now imagine a graph with 30 dots on it. Surely you'll be able to pick up much better trends and not just anomalies if you had 30 data points. Yeah. So you need to, like, a lot of the time people don't realize how much volume they need to do. Some entrepreneurs start doing outreach and they're like, oh, I sent 4 outreach messages this week. 4. That should be done in 30 minutes. You know what I mean? And it should be like, you should be doing 50 a day. Yeah. You should be doing 100 cold calls like in like 2 days, in like a few days. People really underestimate volume when they get started. And again, it's completely normal. And it's not anyone's fault. It's just that you've never had someone to actually set the bar for you in terms of what you should do. Yeah. So this is what I'm trying to like just get through to you of like, you need to realize how much work is actually required to create the business that you want. And it ties into the next point, which I've got. So that was number 6, understanding volume. Number 7 is learn from other people that are in the position that you want to be. No one, not a single person came out and said, hey, I'm doing this business and I've seen that this person, and I've spoke to this person, has built a similar business in this space. Yeah. Not a single person. And immediately, again, that just sends a signal to me. Like, do you actually know what you're doing? Do you know if what you're doing is going to work? And that for me as well is like, it ties into the point, which is number 4 in terms of validation, right? I don't even need to validate my business if I can go and find someone that's already done a business which is super similar, because they validated the business for me. You know what I mean? So for a real time example, I've got a business coach which is making about like 5-6 times more than what I'm making. And it's like great for me because then I can look at him and be like, well, that's going to be us. Yeah. We just need to do the things that he's doing to get to the point that he's at. And it's validated. It's not a question of, oh, is this going to be possible? It's just like, what do I need to do to make this possible? And most people weren't really learning from other people that were in similar fields to where they are. And I think that that's a big, big mistake, and it costs you years of working on the business. My business coach comes in, he's like, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, fix that. Yeah. And I'm like, over here, I'm looking at different problems, and I didn't even know that the things that my coach told me are important, right? It's the unknown unknowns that will kill your business. Okay. Let me say that again. It's the unknown unknowns that will kill your business. What I mean by this is that, for example, let me tell you about my business. We run ads to get customers. If I'm running ads to get customers and I'm running ads and I'm spending more money and I'm trying to make the ads really good quality, but my lead magnet is rubbish, yeah, but I think it's great, I might be like, well, why is no one buying? Ads just don't seem to work, right? But if my coach comes in and he says, look, gee, your lead magnet's crap, let's fix it. Immediately I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that was a problem. Yeah, I might be spending £5 a day on ads and be like, why is no one coming through? I've got a great lead magnet. And then my business coach comes in and says, you're just spending £5 a day, you need to triple that, yeah, to see any kind of result. I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. It's what I don't know about the business that I'm in that will kill my chances of success. So find people that are further ahead that actually know what they're doing to tell you what you should do. Yeah. Hopefully that makes sense. If you don't learn from people that are in the position that you want to be, you will just wander around hoping and praying that things will work out. These are the 7 things that I recommend. If you want to have a scalable business, please do these things. It's going to make your life so much easier. It's going to save you so much money and so much time. Yeah. And it'll stop you from having to worry about, what am I doing with my life? Does this make sense? All the existential crisis that happens when you're going through business, you'll avoid a lot of them if you just follow this advice. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope it changes your behavior. I don't want you just to listen to this video and it goes in one ear and it comes out the other and you don't change anything. If you don't change your actions, you haven't learned anything. So please implement the advice that you learned within this video. I strongly recommend that you even save this video, come back to it over the next few days, watch it and over again, because I know that's how I will invest. I find a video that works well, that I think has got really good advice. I watch it and then I watch it again and then I watch it again and I go back and I change stuff. Then I watch it again and I make sure that I've got the things that it talks about in the video, and that really helps me to consolidate my learnings. So please make the most of this video and I'll catch you in the next episode.